Hey everyone, welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you have been here before, welcome back. Please subscribe. That would be a great way of being notified whenever I make a video. And if anything I say in this video resonates with you, I'd be super pleased if you could share it with someone who you feel might benefit from it. So today in this video, I want to talk about how to manage your little one's naps when they start nursery, or if they're already at nursery and you're finding managing their naps is really tricky. I have a great deal of experience of understanding naps from a nursery perspective because I have worked in many nurseries throughout my career in early years. I've been a deputy manager, I've been a baby room leader, and I've been a toddler room leader. So I know and understand how difficult it can be and also how easy it can be to help little ones nap when they're at nursery. So firstly, when you are a parent and you're taking your kid to nursery, the first thing you want to do is you want to communicate. You want to let your child's key worker know. You want to find out who your child's key worker is first, but you want to let your key worker know when your child is napping at home. And you also want to find out from the nursery the times of day when they allow or facilitate children to nap. Now, if your little one's in a baby room, usually what happens in a baby room is that they have sleeping facilities so that babies can sleep as and when they want to throughout the day. However, if your little one's in a toddler room, they usually tend to just have one designated time in the day when they allow children to sleep. However, that doesn't mean if your child gets tired and needs a nap throughout the day, they won't facilitate that, because they will, or they should. Also, do bear in mind as well that if your little one is at nursery and sometimes their nap needs might differ, they might struggle to get into a nap. And sometimes you might think, oh, you know, the way my little one naps at home, they might not be able to facilitate at nursery. So for example, you might motion sleep your little one to for naps. You might put them in the buggy and walk them, or you might let them sleep on you, and you're thinking or worrying, how is the nursery going to facilitate that? And that leads me to my second point, in that try not to worry about how your child is going to nap at nursery, because one, if they're tired enough, the nursery staff and your little one will figure out a way that works for both of them. Some nurseries will have enough staff where they'll be allowed to or be able to facilitate a contact nap. Some nurseries will have a little less staff, although all nurseries do need to be mindful of staff to child ratios. So if your little one is in the baby room, the staff to child ratio is 1 member of staff to 3 babies. If they are in a toddler room, then the staff ratio is 1 member of staff to 4 children. So, you know, be mindful and try not to worry about how your baby's going to nap. The staff and your little one will figure out a way that works for them. Also as well, be mindful and be flexible that because your little one's in a new space, if they've just started nursery, it might be more difficult for them to get a nap in, or they might struggle a little bit. So try not to worry or panic if your little one struggles with naps on the first couple of days. Once they get used to nursery and the new exciting environment, you will often find that naps kind of work themselves out. Also, you might find that if your little one is a toddler, especially if they're between the ages of 15 to 18 months, they might go through a phase where they're refusing naps altogether. Try not to worry about that. Now, understand this is normal, and that most of the time, after a couple of days of feeling really tired and having danger naps in the car and probably not sleeping very well at night, they start to want their nap again. And even if they don't want it, they start needing it. So let the staff at nursery know if this is what your little one is doing at home, so that they can kind of preempt it and work with it. Also, do bear in mind that sometimes if your toddler or your baby is in a room where it's not a designated sleep time, but they need a nap, your staff will try their best to help little ones to sleep. But do be mindful that if there are other children who are not napping and there are activities going on in the room is probably going to be quite noisy, probably quite exciting and stimulating. And if you've got a little one who has FOMO or, you know, really loves to get involved in things, you might find that they're completely refusing a nap or really struggling to get to sleep. So it's really important that you're mindful. And also bear in mind as well that the staff will do their endeavour best to help your little ones to nap, but they do have lots of other children to care for, and they've got lots of other things and tasks that they've got to do as well. They often have to be setting up for snack, lunch and meal times, and sometimes even if they are in staff ratio, there's just not enough hands to be able to facilitate and support the nap. So be flexible. What else do I want to say? Let me look at my notes. Know that sometimes sleep is going to be derailed. And that's my third one. Be understanding, because like I said, sometimes sleep's going to go awry, and sometimes despite the best laid of plans and the best of preparations, because nurseries are really good at getting little ones to nap all at the same time, purely because they build up to it. There's usually a routine that every nursery follows every single day that the kids get to know quite well. So they usually know when nap time is approaching. And also, all of the children are going to sleep at the same time, and all of the children are assisted to sleep. So they'll be rubbed, they'll be patted, they'll all be supported, they'll never be left alone. So you'll often find that sometimes your little one might nap better at nursery than they do at home. So do be understanding that sometimes things might go awry. What else did I want to suggest? If you find that your little one hasn't taken a nap at nursery, and sometimes on the way home, they might do a little danger nap or fall asleep in the car, sometimes that little 5 or 10 minutes of sleep can kind of derail and push back bedtime, making bedtime a little bit more tricky. But this is what I want you to be mindful of. If your little one has refused a nap or hasn't napped the way they normally do during the day, their cortisol levels are going to be a little bit higher, which means that getting to sleep and staying asleep might be a little bit more tricky than it usually is. So here's what you can do. Push bedtime back a little bit. Half an hour, 45 minutes. It's not for me to say, play around with timings and see what works best for you and your little ones. Before you start your bedtime routine, you need to help your little one get rid of that cortisol. And also, if your little one is going through any kind of separation anxiety, they are sometimes going to try and claw back that missed time that they've had with you during the day by getting it at night. So if you can include some quality connection time, whether it's 15 minutes, half an hour, or even an hour if you can, with your little one, where you're doing some rough play, so you're running, jumping, dancing is a great activity. If you're expelling energy and you're doing something with them that's quality time and you're focusing and giving them that attention, 1, you're getting rid of that cortisol build-up. 2, you're spending quality time with them, so they're less likely to wake up more in the night and wanting it. And if they do wake up in the night wanting that quality time, you can confidently respond to them knowing that you've given them plenty of quality time in the run up to bedtime, and that you can just say to them, look, it's time to go to sleep. We'll connect in the morning, my darling. So that's a really, really useful tip. Get rid of that extra cortisol that's flying around in their body. It basically manifests itself as energy and makes it really, really difficult for your little ones to get to sleep and stay asleep. And also be patient. When they're starting a new nursery, it's a really big change for them. A lot of the time, this change also happens at a time when little ones are experiencing separation anxiety. So if they're between sort of 7 to 12 months, separation anxiety is going to be heightened. If they're in the toddler years, separation anxiety comes and goes. And so sometimes that can also play a big part in why they're waking up more during the night or resisting naps during the day. So that is something that can be super helpful for you if this is an issue. So yeah, I think I've covered everything in that. If you want any more tips or advice, do follow me on Instagram. I'm always on there. Do check out my blog on soundlysleeping.co.uk. And yeah, subscribe to my mailing list so that you get lots of tips and information about sleep straight in your inbox. Take care. Talk to you soon.